Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey, I'm just bopping and dancing,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to do this Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada. The engineer with me is Mr. Lady Ada. It's on camera control.
I'm getting invited to 0 birthday parties this year.
Yes, it's true. Well, you would be the saddest birthday attendee.
No birthday party
You'd just be
invitation for me
sad.
this year. Yeah. Anyways,
But we're here at the Adafruit factory where we do all of our design, manufacturing, shipping, testing, new products coming out all day, every day. We got so much going on here.
you can hear the machines in the background.
Yeah, the machine's going. We may even have a special video treat for you.
Yes.
We have such an exciting show for
right.
you tonight. Oh my God, sneak peek. What was that? You're going to have to keep tuning in to find out what's on tonight's show.
On tonight's show, the code is Feather ESP. That's 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Feather ESP. We'll tell you why soon, but you probably could guess. Your purchase support us, Adafruit, an open source hardware company without loans, without venture capital. We are doing this independently. We're doing this for you, the community. Pick up a kit, save $1 or $2. It helps us. Show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects. Lady Ada will show these. We watched over 300 show and tells over the weekend to pick some of them for a presentation Lady Ada did. Thank you so much, everybody out there. It was neat to see that. Pack the mailbag and stop by. We have an email and a voicemail. Time travel, look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers, pioneers, and some Adafruit history. Made in NYC, some factory footage. Nimbus, a friendly cloud entity, is going to stop by. Show a project. 3D printing. New products. We're going to answer your questions. We have something that's top secret from the Adafruit Vault.
You might even have two.
Yeah, we'll have a trivia question, which is really easy. You just have to say who you are and where you're from and what you're going to build. We're going to try to give away something via our magic payphone at the end of the show.
It is a magic payphone.
All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
Hey, yeah. Okay.
All right, so Lady Ada. Code's Feather ESP. Programming note. Ask an Engineer. You're watching it now. 8 p.m. Show and tell. We just did it. 7:30 every week. We do this. We've been doing this for like 10 years. Same day delivery on checkout. If you're in the NYC area and you have a zip code that we ship to, you'll see it. You can get stuff same day. $200 more. UPS ground. Free. Continental US. We now offer DHL to bing, 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 Canada. And for the folks out there who like AdaBox, if you get an AdaBox, which is our subscription service, we now have AdaBox to Canada. And theoretically, it just goes in, no customs, no taxes, everything is pre-taken care of. You'll get an AdaBox.
We looked today. I saw a whole bunch of DHL packages going out. So very exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully this works out. We might expand DHL to more areas.
Yeah, we're working on it. Okay. Let's do some show and tell.
Let's do the show and tell.
Show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects. Lady Ada. Who's on the show and tell this week?
Dude, we had a sweet show and tell. Let me tell you. It was amazing. We had a bunch of Adafruit folks, starting with Scott, who got wave file playback working on the Circuit Playground Express. And he played like an audio clip, and it's through CircuitPython. So in Python, you can play music through the little speaker on Circuit Playground Express. So that's really cool. Things are happening with that board. We're getting ready to launch. Noe and Pedro showed off their Guardian Zelda sword. Has NeoPixels. They talked about how to get the diffusion in it looking really good, how all the things that they learned from making the Halo sword, they put into this cosplay sword. And we have a video about that as well. We'll show that soon. And then Aaron, who makes so many of our wonderful wearable videos, including that really sweet barbarian cosplay rune thing video that was really awesome last week. She showed off her new chakra hoodie, including a technique in which she allows herself to pick out different colors and color schemes for different projects. Instead of reprogramming the hoodie for every event, she makes it so you can choose dynamically which color hues she wants to have as part of the LED effects. She uses fast LED and has 160 NeoPixels in this hoodie. That's cool. Next up, in no particular order, Sai made an activity monitor, wants to do more walking, getting up, maybe not so much coding, but that didn't stop him from coding up a Pi Zero with a Pimeroni NeoPixel strip in order to make an activity monitor. And he says he's working. He's getting up more, walking around more. It's always good to stay active. Adam gave us a scanning electron microscope update with, he took some photos of the capacitors that they popped and the ones that they fixed and how he's epoxying them so it doesn't happen again. And he's documenting everything because there's a lot of empathy for the next person who's going to, he said that, for the next person trying to get a scanning electron microscope working.
I said I admired his empathy because I could tell that when you first started Adafruit, you put up a lot of documentation because you were like, boy, if I had this, that would have really helped me. And I think one of the things that makers do a really good job of, and really good business people, or just good people, is they imagine future people they've never met that they want to be kind to by providing and sharing information. That's super cool.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
So he's working on the 16 kilohertz oscillator next. Hopefully there will be more updates forthcoming. Orlando showed off the latest version of his little mood board that he designed for
can play Space Invaders
kids, and I think he kind of got distracted because he designed the really cool Space Invaders game. But it's a really sweet game. So this is going to be a mood indicator for his office, and that kids can put on their. He designed it for kids in his local hospital. They can put it on their door to let people know their current mood, whether they want to have visitors or not. But it's also really fun because you can play video games on it. Chris Young is learning Python. He told us a story about going to school 40 years ago, and his professor told them, I guess it's a programming class, he said, I'm not going to teach you programming because whatever I teach you will be obsolete. And he's right. Whatever he would have taught 40 years ago, like Fortran or COBOL, it's no longer used. Instead, the professor said, I'm going to teach you how to learn.
I'm going to teach you how to teach yourself.
Teach yourself so whatever comes up in your career, you'll learn because Chris Young is a C++ like God. Like he's really, really good at C and C++, which makes him excellent at Arduino. But now we're trying to do more with MicroPython, CircuitPython. It's a different programming language. It does have a lot of different ways of doing things. And I think he's like having fun. He's just he's stretching his brain by learning Python.
This is cool. It's neat to be able to take a lot of very specific programming knowledge and then apply it with other programming languages too.
Yeah, this is really neat.
Yeah.
And Python has a lot of power. It's in a way simpler and it's also more powerful than C. So it'll be fun to see what he does. But he's adding infrared. So he did a really great job adding infrared for the Circuit Playground Express, our Circuit Playground board with infrared receive and transmit. That's working really well. And next up, he wants to add it to the Circuit Python version as well. So that'll be cool.
Okay, what else?
Claire made a beautiful prom dress. She had a flora. She had NeoPixels. She sewed them in. It's a really cute prom dress, and now it glows blue and pink. And she added animations, and the prom is on Friday, so maybe we'll get some pictures from prom night. She's definitely going to have the coolest dress, without question.
With the As Seen Show and Tell sticker on it, maybe.
Yeah, maybe she'll. It would be really cool if she just put a sticker on it, like a corsage.
Yeah.
So that looks really cool. And she's going to do more wearable projects.
That's right.
John picked up a fez with a seeing eye on it from Comic-Con, and he added LEDs. He's learning to program. He used a Gemma. He sewed it into his hat, and the hat lasts for 16 hours because he did a really good job of low-power LED usage. So he can wear this hat all day long. It's a really cool hat. The eyeball is, really sweet. And then Dannon... And I don't know if Dannon was the parent or the kid, but Dannon as a pair made a Spherio robot, and they programmed it. And she programmed it to make a square. Yeah. And she's going to program it to make triangles. And then next up, she wants to program it to make an oval or a circle. And her homework assignment that I gave her is to make a heart.
That's right.
So that's kind of half square and then half circles.
Okay.
Maybe she can figure that out.
Is that everybody?
And come back. That's it.
All right. All participants on the Show and Tell get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. Email support@adafruit.com. If you were on the Show and Tell, we'll send you out a sticker. Part of our Adafruit live series that we do every week. We have all sorts of live videos. Desk of Lady Ada was this week, and we're doing a lot of neat stuff with green screens and overheads and a cat. So so this week you showed.
Two things.
Yeah.
Yeah, good cat.
Meow.
Meow.
So what did you show in Desk of Lady Ada?
Okay, we had two Desk of Lady Adas. Well, one of them was, let's see, I got the ESP32 up and running, Should have had two.
Yeah, and then last night we did the circuit playground tester.
Right. Sorry,
Yeah.
we did the ESP. Sorry, we did the ESP. We did a live video from here about
And then
the
we did
ESP32. We did the fritzing for the ESP32. That's what's showing
Yeah.
off here, and that's kind of fun because actually something went wrong, and it took me 20 minutes to fix it. So you can. A lot of people in the chat were like trying to help, which is really awesome.
What's neat about the live videos is you're not afraid to show what engineering process is. So what had happened was importing a fritzing file wasn't finding one of the files or if there was an error.
It was corrupted.
And live in the chat, and while Adiator was doing stuff, everyone had really neat suggestions, and eventually we figured it out.
Yeah, we solved it.
And I think that if you can show your work on how you solve problems, kind of like what Chris was saying, I think one of the things that you do, and some of the really good makers and teachers and educators, is you're not teaching people a skill, you're teaching people an approach to solve a problem. And like Newton's Principia and some of those really old scientific books, it's not about the final formula that was discovered, it's the process in which your brain stretched to figure it out. Like we went through temp files, we had another computer, we were editing XML files.
Ran as administrator.
Yeah, we tried all these different things.
We reverted back. We tried a different project that I knew had worked before.
The file name could have been too long, but it was all neat things to try. And if you see a very polished, like 1 minute video that's just like, here's an engineering project, and you don't see any of the process, I think it's really hard to learn because it's problem solving. What went into that is more than that 1 minute. So the live shows
So
are
that's
really
fun.
neat. Yeah.
And then we tried on a Mac, just in case it was Windows thing. Anyways, we did get it resolved, so I made a fritzing for ESP32. And then, last night I showed off the tester for the Circuit Playground Express. We manufactured Circuit Playground Express today, and we're doing some more tomorrow. So getting that tester up and running is looking pretty good.
Okay, next up. Speaking of shows broadcast from a desk, watch Tony D's desk. This week, Tony did a really cool video about Circuit Python IR codes and cloning IR codes so you can use it in Circuit Python, which has IR.
Yeah, so we're slowly getting, pardon me, had a long day. We're slowly getting infrared receive and transmit, which I think is really neat because a lot of people have IR remotes and devices in their house. And so instead of trying to get like an RF radio or Bluetooth, sometimes you're like, well, I just want to turn off something remotely. If you have a TV remote, you can just use that. And I think that's really cool because you can recycle things around the house. Or you can use your Python device to control appliances or toys. A lot of them use infrared as well. Yeah.
And this is all part of our Circuit Python series that we're doing with our new Circuit Playground boards and more. So next up, not a live show, but one of our video series that we do. It's from John Park's workshop, and we're going to play that video right now. Take it away, JP.
With the right combination of Feather microcontroller and Featherwing add-on board, you can do just about anything. You can light lights with NeoPixels. You can add a music maker and playback MP3s. You can add a motor Featherwing and turn motors. And now you can do all of those things from a safe distance. Let's say you want to light off pyro, or you want to remain hidden during a theatrical event while you change lights. You can do all of those things currently with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, but those tend to be fairly crowded channels and they don't have very good distance. They're amazing for high bandwidth applications like sending video or music, but what about when you want to send a very small piece of data a long range or really powerfully through a space that might be cluttered with other radio signals? That is where the packet radio feathers come in. Now these are operating on the 900 megahertz range. You can also get 400 megahertz range feathers for use in Europe. These have a small set of antennas and they can communicate with each other, sending small packets of data really great distances. If you put a little bit more robust antenna on it, you can get anywhere from 500 meters in the case of the RFM 69 series, up to 2 kilometers line of sight on the LoRa radios. Here's an example of them at work. I have this feather and it's connected to a little trellis keypad so that I can press buttons and send commands. On the receiving end, I have another feather that has the same frequency and same antenna, and I have a little NeoPixel feather wing on top of it. When I press buttons on the keypad, I get some pre-canned animations that I've saved onto this receiving unit. Now it's a little hard to demonstrate here without me being, well, somewhere far away, but you can imagine these are fantastic for use at concerts, in festival settings, in theatrical environments, anywhere where you need to send small, robust data, a pretty decent distance and without any fears of the interference of a lot of other radios coming off of people's phones and other devices. A really nice feature of these RF feathers is that they require no pairing or handshakes or any of the things typically associated with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, so they kind of just plain work. Now the system can get pretty confusing if you're trying to send a bunch of different possible messages from one transmitter out to a lot of receivers. Just keeping straight what the buttons do could be difficult. So I decided to build a little box that would allow me to scroll through different receivers with this rotary encoder, and I have a little display that shows the name of each menu set. Within each menu set, I have the 16 possible buttons on the trellis that I can press, and I also remember from menu item to menu item what was the last button I pressed so that you can look at that and know instantly if that item is on or off. Now you can set up your system to have one feather acting as the transmitter and many acting as the receivers. What these receivers do with the messages is up to the software you upload to each of them. So while the transmitter would broadcast, let's say, a letter A, and all of the receivers will get that letter A, if any of them do something with that is up to the software you put on them. So maybe you have one set up as the NeoPixel receiver, and that's the only one where getting a letter A makes it do anything. Then maybe the letter D is what causes your motor feather wing to turn. Let's have a look at this in practice. Here I have a feather in one of these great little feather cases that I 3D printed based on the Ruiz Brothers design. You can find those on the Adafruit site. And here I have my little NeoPixel feather wing. So I'll plug that into here, and I have my antenna integrated as well as a battery here. And I also built a little diffusing case top. I'll click that into place. And now when I take my controller and go to the NeoPixels menu item and press the first button, I get my first color, and so on. Here I have a theatrical spotlight. Now this is plugged into AC power, so I'm using again an RF feather, and this one has the power relay feather wing plugged into it, and that allows me to control up to 250 volts AC through the relay safely, and with this I can do it remotely. So I'm going to scroll to the section here that I call lamps, and if I hit the first button I get the blinding white hot light of the spotlight. You'll remember the Music Maker feather wing from before. I have that on another packet radio feather inside of this fancy cardboard box, and I've cut a hole into it and mounted a speaker as well as the antenna, an on-off switch, and a little USB port extender so that I can charge the battery from the outside as well as change the software. And all of the guts are sort of embedded inside this cardboard box. So you'll see not everything needs to be 3D printed. You can actually make some pretty cool stuff with junk. So I have a battery in there as well for power, and now when I close it up and select my radios setting on the remote, I can now tune in my fancy radio. Here's a slightly more elaborate setup. Here I have a feather with the motor and stepper feather wing on top of it, so this allows me to control DC motors as well as steppers. And for the DC motor here I'm using a peristaltic pump. So when I go to the motors menu on my controller and press this button, I will get about 4 seconds worth of pumping for the effect. Now stepper motors are really interesting because they're highly precise, and I think once you can start controlling stepper motors remotely, things get pretty interesting for tricks and illusions. I'm John Park for Adafruit Industries, and this is the Remote Effects Trigger Box. If you'd like to build your own Remote Effects Trigger Box, check out the Adafruit Learning Guide, linked in the description below.
learn some electronics. It's like learning magic. It's magical. Okay. All right, next up. Back of the mailbag. We read your nice emails and play these nice voicemails to the entire company. We also play them from you. This week, I really appreciate your online content. Tony D is a real gem. Your last 2 Deaths of Lady It Is, Metroizing NRF52 were exceptional. The narration of routing changes segment was superb, both in content and production values. Fred, thank you, Fred. You know, this show was started on top of the shipping station when it was just me and you.
Yeah.
And I would ship orders, and I would stream it live, and people, like 4 of them, would say, if I order something, will you ship it? And I would. And then they had a couple questions. You walked over and you answered them. And thus was born Ask an Engineer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That's cool.
So, I still have that free webcam. Next up, here's a voicemail.
Hey guys, loving the show. Yeah, this is really cool. I like that you guys set this up. Very awesome. Hey guys, loving the show. Yeah, this is really cool. I like that you guys set this up. Very
I
awesome.
set it to loop. Okay. Whoops. If you want to, the phone number to call later and leave a voicemail or call us is OwnBitStab. If you get put to voicemail, just say something nice.
We'll play it.
Yeah. All right. Time travel. Look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers, and current event, because current events are also in this time.
Time travel can be forward or backwards.
Or in the moment.
Or present.
Also called now. Okay, time travel. This is kind of neat, Lady Anna. 2011. This is you. You were selected to be part of 21 Stories of Small Business Success. Lemore@inc.com.
That's cool.
Yep. That was a long time ago.
That
6 years ago.
was.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Inc. magazine doesn't really.
I don't remember this at all,
Yeah,
but I believe it happened.
They cover like small businesses and then really big businesses. We're somewhere in between, and we don't have venture capital or loans, and we have no scandals, and we don't have any. We're kind of boring.
You know.
We just we try to do good, and that's not such a good story. So it'll be hard to see you on the pages of Inc. We were in the Inc. 500, 5000, but that's just us sending like our tax returns that we wanted to do for a few years, mostly so people could see that this is a real company. A long time ago, I think the AOL guy at a conference said, when are you going to be a real company? So
that was like super downer.
It was a little bit downer.
And then it's funny, like AOL isn't really.
Yeah,
not really in
but
business.
that was a neat moment. I think that was the weekend we met.
It was.
And the guy who was on the panel, because AOL was the sponsor, got to be on the panel. It was about making, but he said,
no, I thought it was an AOL guy in the audience.
No, I think he was on the panel because
Was
we had
it?
asked him about maybe we can make a chair out of all those AOL CDs.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it was a maker panel, but there was this AOL guy, and it made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, it's when you have conferences that have sponsorship and the sponsors are allowed to be on stage. It's always a little odd. So that was neat. I would love to follow up and say, hey, we're still not a real company. We're not.
We could look up what his name is.
We're not a real company.
No.
No, we don't want to be a real company. We want to be an unreal company.
Okay.
All right.
Keep it unreal.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
All right. So that was the past.
Yeah. Well, here's something in the future. National Week of Making coming up soon. Shout out to Dorothy and Stephanie.
Dorothy's
Anytime
doing this
to
thing.
June 16th, June 22nd. National Week of Making. Check out weekofmaking.org. And we have a special video from Dorothy.
Hi, I'm Dorothy from Nation of Makers, and I am excited about our new slot on Adafruit's Ask an Engineer. Each week we'll get 1 minute to recap what's going on at Nation of Makers. This week, we're excited that we're releasing our Maker Town Hall microgrant applications. You might be wondering, what's a Maker Town Hall? Well, it's just a gathering of key stakeholders within your community. This could be your mayor, your economic development council, your tourism board, your cultural institutions, your libraries, museums, schools, and of course all the makers, hackers, and spaces in your area to have a dialogue about how the maker movement is having impacts on your town or city on things like education, entrepreneurship, job creation, economic development, manufacturing, community revitalization, and how makers might be some of the solutions to some of your community's most difficult problems. Now, we know bringing together all of these key stakeholders is hard work, and so we'd like to provide support. So in partnership with our partners at Cognizant and Maker City Project, we're providing up to 10 communities around the United States with Maker Town Hall microgrants. If you're interested in applying, please go to our website at nationofmakers.org and apply by June 1st. We'll be awarding the 10 microgrant recipients during the National Week of Making, which will be June 16th to 22nd. And until next week, happy making!
All right, and we'll be checking in with Dorothy.
There's two of us.
What? Oh, there's two of us?
Sorry.
See, we're an unreal company.
Whoa!
Yeah, glitch in the matrix. We're going to be checking in with Dorothy every week or so about National Week of Making and the maker movement that she's helping to lead.
Here's the really cool thing about the maker movement. First off, it's so welcoming to everybody.
That's right.
Anyone can hang out, make a maker space.
Yeah.
There's no certifications required. You don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to be a quilt maker. You don't have to be a cosplayer. You can be anything. As long as you love to be creative and be around people creative and make stuff and make art and do science, it's welcome to everybody, and I like that. I like that it's such a positive force. Like, everyone gets behind it.
Yeah. All you have to do is make something. That's
All you have
it.
to do is make something.
Or teach.
Or want to make something.
Yeah.
Or enjoy watching people make something.
It's one of the few things that brings everyone together.
Yes.
Like, everyone makes something.
Yes, you can cook, you can sew, you can craft, you can solder.
Yeah.
So National Week of Making is exciting, and what I really like about Dorothy is she's trying to basically get a lot of people into doing this and doing it together, and instead of having it all be centralized, trying to have it distributed, people in their own communities do what they want to do for this National Week of Making, but just have a week that we all do something together and like.
The other thing I like
amplified.
is Nation of Makers and Week of Making is a separate thing from any political group. It's not part of like even Make Magazine, because if you ever if you have close alliances with a commercial property or a political entity, those things change. So when the new administration at the White House came in, they removed all of the maker stuff.
Yeah.
So you had an award at the White House last year, and that was removed. And a lot of the stuff on the site about makers was removed, and that's fine. I actually didn't expect anything else, no matter who came in, because new team, new whatever. And so I think it's important to have independent organizations that carry on no matter what happens in the political or corporate spectrum. Companies get acquired, then what? It's like when stadiums are named something and the company changed hands, like, well, it can't be, what was the bank that we had before it turned into Chase?
Washington Mutual?
Washington Mutual Stadium, now it's Chase, or now it's gone.
No, it's
so whatever it is.
We will help support Dorothy in National Week of Making, but I don't want, there's no way I would ever want it to be called like the Adafruit Week of Making. It doesn't make any sense. It should be the National Week of Making.
Yeah, on our Google Plus community
And
page, we
we're
call
part
it Makers, Hackers, Artists, and Engineers. We don't say Adafruit, because we're like,
No,
this is just a
this-
safe place that we can
yeah.
help provide, but it's for all of you. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, open source hardware. One of the coolest open source hardware companies out there, Parallax. They
Yes.
so our jobs board, we're doing a new one. So for now, we're posting them on our blog. And Parallax is looking for an experienced Chromebook developer. Parallax has immediate need for a Chromebook developer experience in JavaScript if a Chromebook app extension, or Java if created in Java app, WebSocket HTTPS protocols to create a Chrome application for programming the Propeller microchip via USB. It's super cool. Here it is. We posted the PDF on our site. Ken, the CEO of Parallax, is an excellent person. The open source values that they adopted into Parallax from the start. When you look at the Parallax stuff, you can get the files, you can do this. We are here because of Parallax. They are a cool company. I had a basic stamp, you had a basic stamp.
Oh, yeah.
They're a cool company.
Yeah.
So-
First electronics I made was with a basic
Yeah.
stamp. I think I still have it.
Yeah.
I mean, the basic stamp's missing because I think I recycled it, but I have the carrier board.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, some odds and ends. Make Volume 57 should be hitting the stands pretty soon. You're on the cover, Lady Ada. Adafruit has a big feature in it, and it talks about our company, our culture, and more. It's my favorite issue of Make, and this is one of those things where it took 11 years, but Make put you in the magazine, and that's cool. 5 years ago, you were in Wired, and you were an entrepreneur, and you were a few other ones. But for me, as someone who likes to take photos of magazines every month, what you put on the cover of a magazine matters. We are what we celebrate, and so this was really neat. So
And we have a lot of great suggestions for future people to put on the cover too.
we have a list, and
We have a list.
and there's been a couple different Make CEOs, and we've sent a list of people, and it wasn't you, who we thought would be really good to celebrate, to show here's this cool, amazing community of a bunch of different people doing a bunch of different things. So our request, our favor that we ask, and we don't ever ask that much, is on social media, specifically Twitter, because I think Twitter is a little bit of an echo chamber, but we can all use that together. So a lot of people look for tags, especially the folks who probably are in charge of subscriptions and distribution at Make. So do a hashtag MakeV57 and say this is the type of people and this type of companies we want to see in the pages of Make, because that's the community. So if you can do that, that'll help us out, because we'd like to see some other folks on the cover. You're done. You're done.
No, I don't. I'm
And this was a surprise. Shout out to Hep, photographer. It was really neat. Okay, next up, we have this thing that we're running a stat on. So Apple TV and podcasts have been going up quite a bit. We have like thousands of people watching this. So we didn't know that. It's cool.
But now we do.
Now we do.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
Cool stat.
next up, Learn. We got 2 guides.
Two
Out of
guides, more coming soon.
1,121.
I've been cranking on this Circuit Playground Express tester, but we will have many guides that are in moderation, go live soon. We've got the Zelda Breath of the Wild 3D printed Guardian Sword with NeoPixel LEDs. That's 3D Hangouts project. We'll be talking about that shortly, but it's pretty sweet. Maybe
Yeah.
hold on, I will show it. Just a preview. There you go, this is cool. So it's multiple pieces of 3D printed diffused acrylic, trinket, NeoPixel rechargeable battery, so you can Zelda Guardian it up. I haven't been able to
We're
play
going to show
this
the
game.
video soon.
We'll show the video, but this is cool. This is life-size. And the guide for the Huzzah 32, that's this week's new product, the ESP32 Feather. Talking about that a little bit more at the Noops time, but you can check out those guides now if you want.
Okay. Next up, from the Adafruit factory, here's some manufacturing. And what is this Lady Ada?
So this is a selective solder. So it looks like we're soldering up some Huzzah ESP8266 feather. So this is the little sister of the board that's coming out today. And the thing that we just saw before this was the manufacture of the ESP32 feathers that we put in the store today. So it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And people get to see what went on earlier this week to get them into the store today.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Some more Made in NYC. We have a soldering montage. folks who wonder why we do electronics in New York City, well, this is outside our window. How could you not want to make electronics here in New York City, USA, manufacturing, and miss out on sunsets like this almost every night? This is what our pick and place sees out the window.
Wow, these nighttime time lapses are getting really beautiful.
Yeah. And then this is our inspection book. So our products, when they come off the line, we have a little book to make sure they look like what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah, not only so you can see what components are being used, we can see what components are being used.
Yeah. And what's neat, if you take really good photos for your website, you can use them for that. And we do. All right, Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity, is here. Lady Ada, this one is kind of neat because we posted up on our blog. There is like smart city networks that are coming along, and this is from, I think, MCCI, and it's Thing Network. It's like all these.
Let me turn off my sword for a moment.
Yeah.
And then, hold on.
And they made a Featherwing.
Yeah, so here's what this thing is. It's actually really neat. So we have the LoRa Feather, which is a feather board at Mega 32E4 and also at SAMD21. And the ATSAMD21 can run LoRaWAN, which is a protocol on top of LoRa radio, which lets it do like organized packet radio. So Catena is a sensor wing that they designed for measuring the power at Ithaca power plant, I guess. It's like humidity and temperature and power usage in Ithaca. And they're using, MCCI sets up LoRa networks. So they set up gateways and networks for companies and stuff. So they designed this feather wing, and then you can see it latches into, it looks like a PLC or something. And they they're like, oh, instead of us designing our own LoRa WAN board, they just used the feather, and then they made a wing. So that's exactly the whole point of the feather system, is that they don't have to like make the battery charger and the uploader and the crystal and the bootloader. They just use our board, and then they stick on whatever extra they need.
Yeah, special thanks to Terry from mcci.com. This is really cool. Okay, we have that on our blog. Just search for MCCI.
Yeah.
All right.
Catena.
Catena, like a
It looks
sword?
like Cantena, but it says Catena.
Okay. You know, all this stuff works with Adafruit IO. It's our beta service for makers, so you can do data logging, dials, knobs, mapping, and we have our Internet Things Bill of Rights. Take a look at it. It's important to us that people know what's going on with their data and they can participate in it. We also have it on GitHub. You can do pull requests. You can help us improve it. We think that if you're going to put sensors everywhere, maybe people should know what it is, where it's going. 3D printing. The Guardian Sword. Everybody's been waiting for this, Lady Ada. And here it is.
Glow away.
In this week's project, we built the Guardian Sword from Zelda Breath of Fresh Air. It's fully 3D printed and has a ton of NeoPixel LEDs. I mean, this thing is super bright and it just looks so awesome. So in this video, we'll show you how we made it, and most importantly, how you can build your own. The sword is pretty massive. It's about 34 inches in length and has over 90 NeoPixels. Once I got it in the game, the first thing I thought was, wow, this is really cool, I have to make one. So the Guardian Sword can be found in the Chesquita Shrine located in the Tinoco Island. It's yielded by a Guardian Scout, so you kind of have to battle in order to get it. It's got a decent attack rating of 40 points, but like most weapons in the game, it won't last long. So at least this one will definitely last longer than the one in the game. Pager designed the blade in Autodesk Fusion 360 using a bunch of different reference images from the game. He designed it to be 3D printed in several pieces so that he can connect them together using screws. The parts were 3D printed on a Type A Machines Series 1 3D printer. This one has a really massive build volume of 12 by 12 inches, so it's really great for making huge parts. We used translucent PLA filament because it's really easy to use and it'll let the LEDs shine through. We 3D printed the parts on a heated glass bed. Printing on a glass bed gives a nice shiny surface, but makes the part very translucent and it doesn't diffuse the LEDs very well. So instead we tried printing on blue painter's tape because that makes the surface look matted, which is actually a lot better at diffusing the LEDs. Here they are side by side and you can see how the one printed on blue painter's tape just looks much better. So there's 6 main pieces and 4 overlays that fit over the blade to give it that detail. The electronics are pretty easy to put together. We used a 5-volt Adafruit trinket, a USB charging breakout, an on and off switch, a battery, and a NeoPixel strip. These are mini skinny NeoPixel strips with a medium density, and the cool thing about them is you can cut them or solder several strips together to make custom sizes. In order to get the strips to fit inside the blade, we had to remove the connectors. You can do this by either cutting them off or desolder them from the pads. We really like using silicone coated wires because they're super flexible and they're pretty thin. So you'll need to cut, strip, and tin the wires in order to connect them to the NeoPixel strip. If you're new to electronics and looking to learn how to wire or solder things, you can check out our how to solder video. Next we'll work on the USB recharging circuit. You'll have to cut the trace to enable the on and off function. Then you can connect the USB charging circuit to the Adafruit trinket. You'll need to connect the power from the charging circuit and the NeoPixel strip to the bat pin. It's easier if you insert them both into the pin and then apply the solder. We'll do the same for the ground connection. The data wire can be connected to any of the GPIO pins. After that, we can connect 2 wires to the USB charging circuit. Then we'll connect those 2 wires to the slide switch. You'll need to remove all the support material from the 3D printed parts. A pair of flat pliers makes it really easy to pull them off. Next, we'll need to connect all of the main pieces together with machine screws. Each piece has these little tabs with holes in them, so it's pretty easy to fasten them together. Some need to be inserted at an angle in order to be fastened properly. After that, we can mount the electronics to the handle. The built-in standoffs make it easy to secure the board so they're nice and secure. The slide switch fits inside this little holder near the top of the handle. You can just press fit it into place so it's pretty easy to get to. Now we can install the battery. This connects directly to the USB charging circuit. The battery fits in between these 2 walls so it's secured in place. We used Nitto tape to keep the NeoPixel strip attached to the blade. You'll have to position it so that the LEDs shine outwards. The strip is flexible so it can follow the contour of the blade. Once it's set in place, we can fit the other half over the blade and close it up. The 2 halves are tightly secured together with a handful of screws. Now we can add the detail overlays. These can be inserted into the little cavities along the blade, so you just press them into place. The detail overlays on the handle will have to be glued. Here we're using some E6000 adhesive. The last detail is this little gem. This goes over the hole in the handle and it just press fits into place. And that's it. Now we have our very own Guardian sword. The thing I like about this design the most is that it's really durable, so you can swing it around and you don't have to worry about it falling apart. Using the screws to secure all the parts together was a really great idea, and it's also easy to take apart if we ever need to. Paige and I had a lot of fun putting this together, and I hope you do too. All of the 3D files are free to download, and we also have a full step-by-step tutorial that walks you through the whole assembly, so you can totally build this yourself. So be sure to check that out, links are all in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what we're doing, please let us know. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the Adafruit channel for new DIY projects every week. Also, if you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that little bell icon so you get notified each time we upload a new video. I'll see you guys next week.
And you're probably wondering if I could only see a time lapse of a little tiny little mace, one of those things that you hit people with. If I could
just, really use that right now.
If I could just
like a little
if I could just see a time lapse of that though, I don't watch the whole print. I want to watch it. I want to watch it sped up. Okay.
Meep.
Okay, fine.
Like a baby rattle? Because that would be pretty funny.
Baby
like a little
maze.
baby.
It's not just for babies.
shaking this.
Wednesdays, 3D Hangouts with Tim and Pedro. They drop some 3D printing knowledge. See it every week. Layer by layer and more. Learning all things about 3D printing. Download the files, print your own. Kayla data before we go to new products. The code is FeatherESP. All the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Use it on checkout, 10% off everything, so gift certificates and AdaBox. It helps support us. and the shows that you like to watch.
And all those machines that we have videos of.
That's right. Okay, so here it is. Lady Ada, break it down.
New.
Everybody new now.
New. Yeah.
First up.
Code.org Circuit Playground Pack. So this is a new pack that is specifically for, we put it in for teachers and educators, workshop runners, people who have to teach a lot of people, maybe 15 or 30 people with Circuit Playground. And in particular, with our partnership working with Code.org to get Circuit Playground and programming into the hands of a lot of kids and teachers, they want us to make a pack that was basically enough for a small workshop or a small class. So with this pack, you get 15 Circuit Playgrounds. You get 12 sets of 5 LEDs, so 60 total little sequin LEDs. You get, I think, 12 sets of... 15 sets of alligator clips.
Which is a collection. A collection of them is called a crock.
Oh yes.
No, I don't know. I'm making it up.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
A crock of alligator clips.
I hope so.
So you get tons of alligator clips, as you can see, in all sorts of colors, and you get 15 micro USB cables, so you can program your Circuit Playground. So the Code.org platform is still being in beta. I don't believe it's released. So this is for Code.org. But, if you're an educator or a teacher and you are using Circuit Playground in a workshop, this can teach 15 people with individual boards or 30 people if they're sharing it. And you get it for a really good price. I mean, it's basically like 10 or 15% off if you were buying them individually. And you get them all in a pack ready to go. So check it out, even if you are not doing Code.org. But if you are doing Code.org's teacher training program, this is for you.
If you just like value, if you go to Sam Clubs or Costco, this would be the type of Circuit Playground pack you'd buy there. You'd be like, I'm set for a while.
This is like the huge mayonnaise jar of electronics.
Yeah. Okay, next up.
Never need mayonnaise again.
Yep. What's this stuff?
This is the Make Do Screw add-on pack. So these are kind of neat, and people actually are picking these up from us. So if, remember when you were a kid and like the most amazing thing in the world was when somebody in your block threw out a refrigerator box? Did you ever have that?
I only made things out of cardboard boxes when I was a kid.
Dude, refrigerator boxes are amazing. And so what's neat about Make Do is they made these like gigantic plastic screws, and they're like really grippy, and they're designed for cardboard. And so you could get like extra thick ones and skinny ones. And we already sell like the starter kit that comes with like a screwdriver and a whole bunch. But if you want to make really big projects, you might want to have more of these little screw add-ons. And so this is a pack of like 30 extra of those screws. They are reusable. Like you don't use, it's not used once. After you're done, you can remove them from the cardboard, recycle your cardboard, and make another fort or airplane or rocket ship or boat or whatever it is that you're making from cardboard. This one also comes with like a handy little mini screwdriver, which I think looks pretty handy. So if you really had to, you could use it just with this tool, but we suggest it as an add-on to the Make Do pack that we already sell.
Yeah, all those boxes from Google and Apple and Amazon, you could build a city.
All those Amazon boxes, do something with them.
Okay, so
recycle them.
We're gonna cut new products short. That's it for this week because we have not out yet. Yeah.
Well, you have the ESP32 now.
I do?
Yeah.
Where's it at? Oh no, that was the code.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Oh, it's all good. Wait, I can just show it off.
Yeah, we're going to go straight to the overhead. So we have the ESP32.
Everyone's like, wait.
No, I know. Well, we have a bunch of.
We have a lot of. Yeah. But
right.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to show this off on the overhead, and then you can grab some photos while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
No problem.
I know.
This is a heavy overhead item anyway.
Yeah, we were going to go right to the overhead. I know what I did.
Okay. Yeah. There's just so much excitement. Okay. So this is our new feather, and I know this has been in design for quite a while. I started this like almost 6 months ago, but I wanted to wait until we had a really good stable Arduino core, and they've done so much work lately. I think it's ready for people in the Adafruit community. So a lot of people are familiar with the ESP8266. This is the ESP32, so it is the big sister to the ESP8266. I think the 8266 it wasn't actually designed for makers. Like, it was kind of a coincidence or like a good luck thing that it turned out to be so popular. And Espressif, I think, took a lot of the feedback and the popularity of the 8266 and realized, well, you know, the ESP8266 is amazing because it has Wi-Fi, it's got digital input pins, it's really low cost, but there's a couple of things that it was missing that people really wanted. Like, for example, a lot of digital and analog pins. So what's really neat is the ESP32 has like a ton of pins. It's got like 12 analog inputs. It has multiple SPI pins, multiple I2C ports, multiple UART ports, I2S. It's got Bluetooth as well as Wi-Fi. So it does Wi-Fi, but it has a Bluetooth support. I saw somebody today tweeted about like a Bluetooth radio that they made with it. And it has Bluetooth low energy support that they're adding. So it's a really powerful, like all-in-one chip. And under this module is the ESP32 itself and also 16 megabytes of flash memory. And we took this module and very luckily, because we had already designed the Feather, the module fits exactly in between the pads. So it's perfect. It's right in between there. So you can use it as a Feather. And what's neat is, you know, we sell a Val board and we sell a breakout for the ESP32, but what's neat about this is it is compatible with our entire library of feather wings. So, for example, you know, I have some examples of like stuff. So, for example, we have, you know, this terminal block. So this terminal block breakout takes your Feather and breaks it out into all these screw terminals. So what's neat is, you know, you've got, you know, any kind of Feather, you can plug it in, and now you know you don't have to do any soldering if you want to attach devices. And we also have many other Feather wings. So, like, you know, this is a tripler, so it lets you connect 3 feathers at a time. So, for example, this is just running a very, you know, it's a fake demo. It's not actually doing transmission, but it has an OLED and it can show you details, and there's like a radio module you can add. And we've tested all of our wings and they all work. The Arduino core is still in progress, so there's a couple things that don't work quite yet. I think analog outputs and PWM outputs are still in progress. But I2C works, SPI works, GPIO works, analog inputs work. And so this is, I think, now's a good time to release it and get it out into the world. So as Espressif continues improving and expanding the capability of this chip to people, you'll have it in hand. So this comes with USB to serial converter and has a bootloader on it already. So you just, you know, upload immediately. It works by default. We added a little reset capacitor to improve the reliability of auto reset. We did a lot of testing with that. It has a LiPo battery port and recharging built in, so it charges up to 200 milliamps at a time, which is good. You need a lot of power for this. And a bunch of extra capacitors, and yet all the pins are broken out. And then on the bottom, you know, we have all the pads labeled. So like there's so much capability. You know, there's DACs and ADCs, I2S, I2C, SPI.
What's the
LED.
serial converter in it?
The serial converter I use is the CP2104, which is both low cost, very affordable, and in my opinion, much better for high speed uploads than the FTDI chipset. So we did all of our testing at 961 kilobaud and never had an upload fail. So this is super solid. Will make it very easy to do development. We recommend using the Arduino IDE. That's what we've been using. But you can also program it directly using the Espressif IDF. That's their low-level programming setup, which is much more powerful and has much more examples for it. But the examples are slowly getting ported over to Arduino. So, for example, I think there's only a basic Bluetooth Low Energy demo right now for Arduino. If you want to do way more Bluetooth Low Energy, check out the low-level IDE, the IDF, the development framework.
Okay.
But long time coming, we have it, and it's got this really cool matte PCB. It's like really cool looking. So there you go. We now have the NRF52 Feather and the ESP32 Feather, the two things that people were waiting for.
And that was the start of the show besides you, Lady Ada.
Yes.
Okay.
We did it.
Yay, good work. Okay. And with that, Lady Ada is, you guessed it, new products forever. All right, from the Adafruit Vault, we're going to do some top secret stuff tonight, stuff that no one's ever seen before. out of the vault. Ready?
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's happening!
Lady Ada showed off.
Today we finally started manufacturing the Circuit Playground Express. So this is our next version of Circuit Playground. It's got a bigger speaker. It's got infrared input and output. Still has a light sensor, temperature sensor, accelerometer, capacitive touch. And we have an analog output, which is really cool. And the analog output is tied to the speaker, so it can do really neat sound effects. If you watch Show and Tell, Scott showed off playing a wave. You can actually play like sound wave files. And, it sounds a little Casio-tony, but you can get good output. And then for higher quality output, you can clip onto here. And it's got SPI flash. It has a 2 megabyte flash chip, which can be used as a disk drive. It also means it can be used with CircuitPython. So this board, the Express board, just came out of the oven only a couple hours ago. And I had programmed it with MakeCode, which is the Microsoft drag and drop, block programming setup. So what's neat is the code that's running on it right now was written through a web browser with like blocks. It wasn't written in Arduino at all. So it can play some tones, like when I press the button. And it can do shake detection. And also, if you flip the switch, it gets dimmer or brighter. So this is dimmer and brighter. So it's kind of neat. Like, it's happening.
Not a single key was typed.
Nope.
It was all drag and drop.
It's all drag and drop, and it was all through a web browser. You don't need any serial drivers. You don't need
What else you got?
IDEs. And then James just finished putting together this prototype. It's the Metro Bluefruit. So I did this Desk of Lady Ada a couple weeks ago. I laid this out, and now we got the prototype. And we're going to put this together.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it. That's a
I got
lot.
something.
Oh, neat. What do you have? I have a slight cough.
It's a lunchbox with Adabot on it. It is the Adabot, Adafruit Discovery Advancement Bot. We'll have these in the store. We're also looking for cool companies who want to do something like put electronics in it.
First off, you can use it for Faraday enclosure as a heatsink. It's anti-static, durable. And we shut off on the overhead.
Nope, we're going to keep moving.
Okay, got to keep going. No rest for the wicked.
Back in the vault, secrets. Okay, let's do questions, Lady Ada.
Of course.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm going to just take a drink first. Whew.
Type your questions in the chat. Yes, the community named the lunchbox. Thank you. This was it. It's not out yet. Don't ask, but I think you said it, so it's okay. Was it used with makecode.adafruit.com?
Code, yes.
Yeah,
Makecode.
Makecode.adafruit.com.
Adafruit.com. You can also type in pxt.io. That's the shortcut code. And you can play it out in the simulator. If it's very interesting, they have a simulator. You can practice your programming, save files and stuff. We'll be doing demos and stuff, but it's neat. It's very beta, so it's secret. It's not out yet, so don't tell anybody. Definitely don't post it on the internet.
Okay. Is there plans for a tutorial connecting the Particle GPS asset tracker to Adafruit IO, perhaps with Google Maps overlay?
Well, I think there's MQTT code for Particle. If you have MQTT code for Particle, just take that GPS data, upload it, and check out. We don't have a tutorial for it, but it should be very similar to the code we have right now for Adafruit IO.
Okay, this person has a question about the 32-bit counter mode using Feather M0 Arduino board. So I wonder if it is available to set 32-bit counter mode master with Feather M0 Arduino board, and I want to know what I missed to configure.
Well, the counters are a little challenging to set up. I would check out the ASF library core that Atmel/Microchip released. I can't help you with your code offhand, but I would start with there. Check what the timer code is and make sure that you're setting. You do have to set all the registers and sync them. It's a little bit more complicated within the 32U4, but they absolutely have 32-bit counters.
Okay, curious why the charge current is limited to 200 milliamps for the ESP Feather.
Well, that's a good question. It's so that you can, if you plug in the USB, I want to make sure that the charge rate, which is 200 milliamps for the battery, and then plus 250 milliamps or whatever for the ESP32. and whatever 50 milliamps remaining don't go above 500 milliamps. That's why I limit it to 200.
Okay, do we have a Store Manhattan note? We don't have visits. We're a factory. People can't show up here. We do have same-day delivery, and you can get our stuff from Micro Center. Okay. Does the make computer chips edible in your store if you put them in the lunchbox? No.
Yum. Well, you can eat them. They're just not very tasty.
Okay. Did you get USB mass storage for the SPI flash working with Arduino Core?
Not with Arduino Core, mostly because I just haven't had time to really dig into the pluggable USB. We contacted the person who did pluggable USB and said, hey, it would be really awesome if we could hire you to do this. And they never replied. Okay. So if there are any people out there who are excited to add pluggable mass storage to the Arduino pluggable USB core, contact us.
Do it, we'll pay you.
We will absolutely pay you to do it. For now, what we suggest is you load CircuitPython, and that shows up as a disk drive, and then you can access it. So it's not ideal, but you're going to have to upload a script anyways because you can't read and write from the SPI flash while mass storage is happening. So you will always have to change scripts. It's a workaround. It does work.
Okay. Next up, what are some of the IDEs for the Circuit Playground?
For the Circuit Playground Classic, you can use code.org, you can use Arduino, and of course you can program it directly with AVR GCC. For the new Circuit Playground Express, I forgot there's a shake sensor. For the new Circuit Playground Express, it will be Arduino, it will be CircuitPython, or MicroPython, it's a derivative of MicroPython, and MakeCode, and then maybe more stuff if people want to port to the chipset. But so far, Arduino, Python, and MakeCode are the three things that we're going for. And MakeCode also has TypeScript, which is a JavaScript-ish language. So you kind of get four in one.
What's one of your favorite things about being an engineer?
Oh, I just love making things out of my brain and like seeing them become physical. It's just so cool.
I think the joy comes from what I've seen you is when people use your stuff in a really cool way, in an unexpected way, or if it helps others.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the neat things.
Yeah, it's neat seeing it in the world, and it's like doing stuff, and people love it, and they're making art, or they're helping friends, or they're having a good time.
Okay, what kind of module do you use with the EasyLink?
The EasyLink was a Bluetooth Classic.
Okay. Next up, I'm building a 3D printer. I'm planning to replace it with a ATX power supply. How can I know if my ATX power supply is safe enough for my 3D printer?
You know, honestly, if you're really putting time into a 3D printer, I wouldn't use an ATX power supply because they can be unstable. Okay. So I would, not in a bad way, just the power might dip. I would just invest in like a Meanwell power supply that gives you the outputs you want. Can
you make Circuit Playground's 2 megabyte flash edible through USB?
Yes, if you open up the CircuitPython, that's what I said.
If you use CircuitPython.
If you use CircuitPython, you can load and remove files, and then within Arduino, you can access the SPI flash directly.
What ID do you use to build the UF2 bootloader on Git?
You just use the GCC, ARM GCC library. You just install ARM GCC, which is, we have a guide about how to do that, but you have to install that, and I don't think you need ASF. I think you just need the ARM ABI GCC 483 is what we built with.
Okay. Next up, for the folks who want to know, Radio Shack is going through what Radio Shack seems doing every few years. They had a big sale. Adafruit stuff got picked up pretty fast, but you could still go to some Radio Shacks and they have some pretty big discounts.
They might have them online too. I don't know if they're selling them in the online store.
If and when they reemerge from some company logistical things, because it's tough running a Radio Shack, thousands of stores, we'll have them back on the show. But it's an interesting time for retail because it's really easy to get everything online, and there's things like Adafruit now. And we had some of our stuff in Radio Shack, so it'll be interesting to see if there's going to be a physical place for electronics, or will it just be same-day delivery, overnight delivery, lots of delivery across all these things. We have our stuff on Amazon, so a lot of people get it from Amazon. Unknown the future, but there is one thing. It seems like people like to order stuff online and have it delivered to their home or business. So that does displace many retail outlets. Okay. Let's see, is composite TV video faster than SPI from the Pi 3?
I don't know how to compare those two things. I guess composite video has a higher bandwidth. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Okay, if someone uses your product and circuit and makes schematics quite better, would you add it as your product? Yeah, sure.
Sure.
It's open source hardware. That's
or
why we do it.
Post it, blog it, share it.
Yeah. If I replaced a 2 megabyte chip on the Python M0 Express with a 16 megabyte, will I see the full capacity?
You will not, because our code right now doesn't know about the ability to have 60. It actually only has the knowledge of the one chip, but it wouldn't be hard to add the capability to do 16 megabytes. We just haven't added that little switch that says, oh, if the chip has this JEDEC code, it's a 16 megabyte. So it won't show up. It might not even work at all, but it's something that we probably will add in the future.
Next up, do we have anything that takes sound and turns it to light?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we've got, but I don't remember the name of it. We have the light bar kit from Spikenzie, but I don't remember the name.
Oh, just go for the blog.
Yeah, it's like the Spikenzie light bar, and it makes NeoPixels light up with light, and you don't have to do any programming.
Okay, got through the questions. Good work, lady.
Okay, great.
All right, next up, don't forget the code for the ESP. Okay, Lady Ada, we're going to do a trivia question. What are the rules?
Rules are, if you've won something before, no more winning. Only one winner per my lifetime. We want everyone to have a chance to win a fabulous prize. Today's fabulous prize is the Feather Huzzah ESP32.
Okay.
The new product that was so new that we almost didn't know it. All you have to do is call the phone when it's on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you for your name, where you're calling from, and maybe you have a lovely message, or you can tell us something you're working on or you're building or you want to build and make, and then you will win the prize.
First caller wins. The phone lines are open. Let's see who calls. Sometimes this doesn't work out. We'll never know what really happens, but it's always interesting because we never know. So call the phone number. Oh, we've got a caller.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead, Lady Ada. Pick up the phone.
Hello, you have reached the Ask an Engineer show, and you are the winner. Hello? Hello? They hung up.
All right, hang up the phone, Lady Ada. Let's see if someone else calls.
What's that sound?
I don't know.
It sounds like a phone.
Oh, I know what that is. That's another phone.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay, let's try again.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, you have reached Ask an Engineer, and you're the winner. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Oh my god. Whoa, there's like totally a lag. My name is Hart Wells. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Hello.
This is so exciting. Oh my goodness.
Yay, congratulations. Yeah, there's a lag, but you can just listen to me on the phone. So do you have any projects you're working on or you want to build?
Absolutely. Right now my project is an LED flower crown that is currently controlled by an ESP8266, but I'm going to be playing around with if an ESP32 better suits our needs.
Okay, well,
So
you're in
this
luck.
is like so amazing that you guys are putting out this feather. I'm really, really happy about it.
Yay. Well, you should be super happy because you're the winner. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com and let them know that you're Mr. Would you say Hartwells from Connecticut, and you've won product number 3405, and they will send you this fresh and delicious feather. And even if it doesn't work out for your flower crown, make something else.
Yes, absolutely. You guys are fantastic. Everything that you do is amazing.
Awesome.
Keep up the amazing work. I love your shows.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you
God.
so much. Okay, well,
much love to you
congratulations.
guys.
Okay, lots of love back to you.
All right, email support@adafruit.com and we'll send you out the
Yeah,
Feather
you're going to get
ESP32.
some free stuff. Okay, well, thank you so much. Keep watching. Maybe come on the show and tell with your flower crown. I would like to check it out.
Yeah.
I will. On
Yes.
Show and Tell. I'm
Yes.
going to show it off.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you for calling, and
Yay.
have a great night.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, we got a winner. Sweet.
All right.
Okay, congratulations.
Congrats. So, if you tried to call and gives a voicemail, leave something nice. It keeps us going. Positive vibes work. Okay. So,
I build hardware based on positive vibes.
we're going to do one last thing. I'm going to see if this works out, and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to be adding a new segment to our show soon where we have a mobile camera. So I'm going to pop over and see if this works. And this is a wireless HDMI camera. You can see this in the thumbnail. No wires. And I'm going to walk around a little bit.
Okay, later. This is neat. Bye. Okay, so these are the stencils on the left. If you see all those silver bars, those are all the stencils that we use to stencil all the boards. You can see the names of the boards are on the stencils. Then we have a bunch of, close up. Yeah, see, Pi TFT, motor hat. And then there's the reels that we use. Those are the backup reels. So tomorrow when we run boards, we're gonna grab those and they have common components on them. There's an air compressor hose and a stenciler, a board loader. Well, it's getting super pixely. Oh, we lost you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we made it.
Test.
We made it kind of far.
Yeah.
Good test.
We're still testing.
Oh wait, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo.
So we're still learning. And
Yeah,
practicing.
so I think that wireless HDMI needs more power than I currently have going to it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what I can do next week.
Okay.
The goal is to have all of the machines all the time broadcasting what they're making.
Yes.
And this is step 1. All right.
Many steps.
Okay. Well, that's the show tonight, Lady
Well, that
Ada.
was exciting.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone out there. Thank you, all the Adafruit folks that are helping out with the shows. Thank you, all our remote team members, our Adafruit employees, our community, the open source community. Thank you, everyone who contributes to all the cool code and tutorials and learning resources and more. Thank you. It's more than just a part in a bag. It's more than just code.
We
What's
do
up?
this because we have to.
Yeah, it's only work if you'd rather be doing something else. That's the show. Thanks so much, everybody. Don't forget the code is FeatherESP, 11:59 p.m. And here is your moment of Zener, but a cat first.
Yeah.
Meows. All right, later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Playing us out tonight is the Make Cover musical.